Hello, hello. Welcome to Top Shelf Backpacking Intro to Backpacking Episode 3. Today we're going everything you need to be wearing to stay safe out on trail. Today we're going to start by going over everything I have to take out backpacking, and I'm going to show you why you must have it to stay safe out on trail so you don't die. Alright, maybe that last part isn't true, but let me show you what I've got, then we'll go over what I actually use all the time, then we'll go over what you should probably have to take out on your first backpacking trip. Starting with what's on the table here, I have a ton of different socks. Over the years, I've come to love Injinji toe-style socks because I do tend to get blisters, specifically on my little baby toe there. So these tend to work well for me. I've got a couple different thicknesses and a few different lengths of them. So I've got ones for wearing boots, for when I'm out in the snow or that kind of thing. And I've also got some Darn Toughs. Some other ones, these I'll wear on shorter trips. Sometimes I'll use these at night for covering up my feet when it's warmer and I don't want to bring the down booties. On trail, I will typically rock some Ex Officio Give and Go boxer briefs. They're durable, they tend to limit the amount of chafing, and are easy to clean. I do recommend 2 pair of those, that way you've got something clean to sleep in, and on longer trips you can swap them out, washing a pair, wear the clean ones while that dries kind of thing. Moving along the table here, we've got head coverings from full-on balaclavas, ear warmers. I typically will always have some sort of beanie, so I've got a really lightweight one, or if it's colder, I've got these 2 Under Armours I will bring with me. In the same vein, gloves. I'm a big fan of lighter weight ones, that way I have dexterity, but just helps keep the chill off. These are really nice down to about freezing for me. Just something to help make sure I stay warm enough to be able to use my fingers while I'm out there. On those colder nights, I've got some down booties. These are from Enlightened Equipment. And I also got the down over booties, although I rarely bring these anymore, just because thankfully I don't typically get up at night, and they're not quite durable enough for me to like want to walk around camp, you know, after we've set up kind of thing. So these usually stay at home, but these come on a lot of trips for me just because they're lighter than some of the socks I have and quite a bit warmer. If the temps are below freezing, I'm going to have a set of mittens paired up with a set of gloves. Another reason I have a nice thin pair there. In the very cold, I've got some snow gaiters. These help keep the snow from getting into my boots, especially nice when I'm wearing snowshoes. Wish I would have brought these on my last snow trip. I forgot and got a fair bit of snow in my boots. When it's not snowing, I am still a fan of gaiters. These guys go over the shoe, and they help keep rocks and debris from getting in there. Not everybody needs these, but in the kind of conditions I hike in, and the way my gait works, I do tend to fling up a lot of duff and rocks and everything. So instead of stopping constantly to get the rocks out of my shoes, I found these gaiters do the trick to keep my feet a little bit cleaner there, and they don't weigh much. Pretty easy to put on if you have shoes that accept them. I'm a big fan of buffs, although I haven't used them as much for their intended purpose in the last few years. These are neck gaiters, go over your head. Really nice. They make a lightweight beanie. They can make sunshade for your neck. They're nice for wiping down condensation on the tent in the morning. I use them a lot for grabbing hot pots off the stove, that kind of thing. So a very versatile piece of gear. Can also be kind of a cold compress. Dip it in a creek kind of deal. So I do like having these on hand, although I find myself wearing them less and less, but they're so helpful for other things that I'll use them for that. I've got this little merino half gaiter. This guy is kind of nice in the winter time because I can cover up just my face while I've got a beanie and a hood on without overheating, and it deals with the moisture fairly well there. The final piece of things I'll wear on my legs, which is a calf sleeve. I do tend to get pain in my left calf, so I've got a plethora of calf sleeves I've purchased over the years. Usually the copper fits are my go-to. Don't know that the copper helps at all, but they're inexpensive. I like the amount of stretch, so they're easy to get on while still having a good amount of compression, but not like cutting off circulation to my leg. So I will rock a calf sleeve if it's a longer trip. As far as footwear goes, start down here with the camp shoes. These are often a luxury, something I wouldn't necessarily recommend bringing your first time. Just a pair of flip-flops or something will do the trick. I've got the Justin's Outdoors recommended Mayflies. These are basically cardboard. They're corrugated plastic with some dental floss seemingly put on them. I haven't been a big fan of these just because of the way that I walk. My feet tend to like slide off of them very easily. So I was very excited when Z-Packs came out with their new camp shoe. which seems to stay put quite a bit better so far. I've only had them out a few times, but very lightweight, under 2 ounces for the pair. And I mean, it's not like a huge comfort thing, but once I got into the tent and realized, oh, I still need to go outside and hang the food bag or go to the bathroom or something, really nice to have something to pop on and make your way shortly around camp there. If you got a pair of Crocs or knockoff Crocs like these, they do make fantastic camp shoes. They're a little bit heavier, close to a pound for the pair, but they are comfortable as all get out. They're great for water crossings. They're a little bit big, so you often hang these on the outside of the pack, or I'll put them in the stretchy part. That also allows them to dry and that kind of thing if you are using them for water crossings. As far as shoes go, you may have heard that you know, you need boots, hiking boots. Those are the way to go. And I do have 2 pair here. I've got an all-weather, which I've learned does not mean insulated, but they are waterproof. These are Altra Lone Peaks. I will often take these into the snow for like day hikes, or if the temperatures are going to be higher and I still want a boot, really nice for rain, puddles, that kind of thing. If it's cold, like way below freezing kind of thing, these Merrells are insulated. They're a little narrow for me, so I'll usually be doing shorter miles, but a lot of times in the winter that's not a big deal because I'm not going crazy far anyway due to the weight on my back and the challenge of snowshoeing or post-holing through snow. For most of the trips I'm hoping you guys are going to be going on, trail runners are probably going to be the way to go. If you've got hiking shoes you're comfortable with using currently, I'd say stick with those. For me, I am a big fan of Altras. They have what they call a zero drop, so the heel is at the same height as the forefoot here. I've got some hardware in my ankle and found that having a zero drop shoe all the time decreases the amount of pain I get from that. You don't want to jump into a zero drop immediately and go hiking and backpacking. You can overstretch your Achilles, leads to a lot of pain. I also have very wide feet, so I've got these Lone Peak 8 extra wides. They've got huge toe box, so I have plenty of room to move around in there. And these ones actually give me enough room to run a normal kind of wool sock. A lot of times I go with a thinner synthetic. Because my feet are so wide, I don't have that extra space in most shoes without getting a very oversized shoe. The Temp 3s here were one of my favorites. They're starting to wear down. For me, I usually get 500 to 600 miles out of a pair. I do a lot of road walking in these still, just because I want to make sure they're, you know, nice and broken in and comfy for the hikes I'm going to be taking them on. The newest addition are the Lone Peak 9 Pluses. These are only available at REI. They've got a Vibram sole. It's supposed to be a little bit more durable. So far, these have been fairly comfortable. I would like to point out there are multiple ways of lacing these. So because my feet are so wide, especially in the forefoot area, I lace them in a manner where it doesn't put a lot of squeeze on that particular section, and that makes them a lot more comfortable for out on trail. Now let's move on to the clothes that I'm going to have top and bottom here, show you what I've got. Starting with some base layers here, I've got the Smart Wool. They're kind of a lighter weight base layer, basically some tights. Those will go on the majority of trips with me. They're great to sleep in. You can keep them on in the morning if you're hiking out and things are a little bit cold. And they just help keep the chill off you if you're wearing shorts. Next up, we've got kind of a heavier weight fleece layer. This is a bottom and a top from Cabela's. I've taken those out in very cold temperatures, like blizzard conditions, single digit kind of thing, to wear underneath everything, and they help to keep me warm. Next up is a waterproof insulated pant. Think like snowboarding kind of gear. I've only taken those out one particular time. Twice. Once up on Mount Hood in the snow, and once when we went out at the blizzard, where we had the single digit temperatures and everything, and they, along with the base layers, helped keep me nice and warm. Next up is a soft shell pant. This is from REI. This is one I will take out fairly frequently. It is very water resistant. Got a little bit of warmth to it, so kind of my winter time day hiking, took it out snowshoeing. The temps were in the 30s, and it did great. Some insulating layers that come with me on almost every trip are from Enlightened Equipment. They are the Torrid Apex insulated pant and the insulated jacket. I am a big fan of these layers. They come with me very, very frequently. They're fairly lightweight. Because they're synthetic, if they get wet, I will still stay somewhat warm. So those go with me all the time. The first insulating layer I bought was this REI Magma Puffy. It is a great budget option, packs down small, has a good high fill power down in it, so it keeps me nice and warm. That one gets loaned out to a lot of buddies that go out with me on trips because it's so lightweight, small. Packable, that is, but still keeps you nice and warm. Next up, we've got my sun hoodies. You've seen these in a lot of my videos. I'm a big fan of the Crater Lake by Mountain Hardwear. So I've got 2 different colors of that. These guys do have thumb holes. I don't care for that, but they're there. They've got nice hoods on them, and they're very lightweight and soft. I also have an Outdoor Vitals. It is the lightest of the bunch. It does not have thumb holes, which I like, but this kind of almost grid material I found occasionally will rub me raw on my love handles, right where my hip belt makes contact. Finally, we have the outer shells here. I've got the Outdoor Vitals rain jacket. It doesn't have any pockets or anything. It's nice and lightweight. Well, I guess it does have a chest pocket here, but it's got pit zips. It compacts down nice and small. It doesn't weigh a ton, so that's a nice one. If I expect to be hiking in rain, I will bring that. Same deal here with the REI. I want to say these are like the Rainier rain pants. They zip on each side, so you can easily put them on over your stuff. You don't have to take your boots off or anything. So if I'm expecting to be hiking in the rain, heavy rains, I'll bring something like that. Every trip I will bring some kind of rain gear. If I'm not expecting rain, that's usually a Frog Togs rain jacket. Very budget friendly, not very durable or breathable, but if you just want an extra layer at camp to keep the mist off you, or just has a little added warmth, but you're not expecting rain, that's a nice one to bring. I've got some Visp rain pants from Enlightened Equipment. These are kind of my layer for light rain at camp, just to help take the edge off since I'm typically wearing shorts. They weigh less than 2 ounces and are very handy, packed down nice and small. I stick them in the hood of the Frog Togs there. And the final piece, my rain kilt. Haven't used this in a while, but a very handy piece of kit. If I were going on longer trips and expecting to hike in rain, I might bring that because it breathes really nicely, packs down crazy small, and helps keep the clothes, the shorts, that kind of thing from getting soaked. 80% of the time when I go backpacking, this is what I'd be wearing. No, that's not quite right. Let's try that again. Nope, that's still not. How many crop tops do I own? Okay, that's one more time. Much better. So most of the time I'm out, I'm just wearing things you probably already have, things I would wear to the gym, out for a walk, something synthetic. Try to avoid cotton. I like hiking in shorts. They're a lot easier to move in. They dry faster, nice and lightweight, and fairly comfortable. So the things you need out on trail, you may already have sitting in your closet. Now that you've seen what I actually wear out on trail, here's what I would recommend for you. If you've already got stuff you're wearing to the gym, it isn't cotton, which can be dangerous when it gets cold because it takes a long time to dry and doesn't insulate well. Maybe that's all you need to bring out. Again, I will wear a Under Armour shirt a lot of times with just some running shorts. I do like ones with pockets. If you've got a fleece you're already rocking, that makes for a great kind of mid layer to help take the chill off. The one thing you may or may not have, but I do recommend you bring, is some sort of puffy jacket, be it synthetic, like this guy, or down ones are a fine option too. These can be fairly spendy pieces of kit, so do your due diligence in trying to find something either secondhand or at the right time of year. I picked this up in July. Person in line was looking at me crazy till I got almost half off of it, but the coupons I was able to stack and the sale was already on it because hardly anybody's buying puffies in July. So if you time it right, you can get some really good deals on these things. I do recommend starting off with trail runners if at all possible, but make sure you're taking them out, walk around the neighborhood, go on some day hikes before you're really stressing it to make sure your feet are comfortable, that you've got the right size for you. There's a lot that goes into that. So try to buy them from a trusted source, somebody who can actually measure your feet, tell you your true size, and might even have some stuff for uneven kind of things for you to walk around on to get a feel for how they grip, how your feet move around in them, that kind of thing. Because having blisters and sore feet will definitely be a way to not want to go backpacking again. So there you have it. That's what you can potentially have to go backpacking, but what you actually need to get out on your very first trip. Check back next week to see episode 4 and learn more about getting into your first time out on trail. For more information on all the items you see on this channel, visit topshelfbackpacking.com. And until I see you again, cheers.